Good afternoon. This is Andrew Fleck for Geoenvironmental Atmosphere. And, well, you can look at the imagery I have up and you can take a guess what this video is going to talk about. That's right, that big old storm that everybody's beginning to talk about. As nice as this weekend has begun today, is as ugly as it's going to end Sunday into Monday. What I'm going to do this afternoon is break down 3 model frames from the GFS and just kind of show you the general setup of what this, as some people call a monstrous or sizable storm, is going to deliver for the East Coast into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, again by that Sunday-Monday time frame. So this is actually your frame for your later Saturday. What eventually is going to happen is we have a low pressure that's positioned up here across Maine, and that's going to probably bring a few scattered thunderstorms, isolated severe to the Mid-Atlantic region. You might have that tip of that heating all the way making its way into some of those states, but it shouldn't be too much of a concern. But notice we have a very large area of low pressure, another small area here, but the larger one here sitting in the Gulf or the southern states. And this is going to be the storm that's going to rally up the East Coast and cause a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and for being April 20th or the end of April, even snow. That's what the models are indicating. So the next frame we'll show you is now early Sunday. We have that low pressure that I just showed sitting in the Gulf now making its way into the Carolinas. It's quite an intensity of a 998 millibar low pressure, and that's going to make its way further up into the Carolinas and just cresting the coastline of Maryland, Delaware, and of New Jersey. But notice we do have some cold air behind it here, and when you have storms such as that, which is really having that much of an air mass pulling into it for April, you know that this storm has something to work with. We're not just talking about a one-sided balanced storm. We have both warm air and cold air. That colliding can bring about, like I said, a very decent sized storm. And so as we show you here, this is for your early Sunday. And then our next imagery is the storm at its best. It curls right into the region there. Look at that cold air pushing as far south as the western Carolinas, and then we have this warmer tongue sticking up into Boston in the eastern northeast. But this is a classical setup. I mean, very balanced storm system working with 2 air masses. Low pressure positioned right here about New York City, eastern or northeastern New Jersey. And of course, you're probably seeing anywhere from central to eastern Pennsylvania, okay, into New York, and so probably that heavy rain from that surface low. But as you move further back west into western Pennsylvania and New York, even West Virginia, Ohio maybe, there is a potential chance that these isobars are really tight, and that indicates strong winds. You have that blue that's indicating very deep cold air. You go from heavy rain to the eastern portions of the region to cold wind and snow to the western. So that's what the models are looking at right now. I don't think it's going to be as strong as the intensity as the models have had this later half or this past later half of the week, but I think we'll be able to see more of an agreement and maybe just a lessening or backing off of the strength. But it looks to me as a very good storm is going to batten down the hatches toward some locations across the region for this Sunday and Monday time frame. What we can show you is a precipitation map for Sunday into Monday, where that storm was at its best. We have integrated that into now the precipitation type. And what you will see here is we have, again, that heavy rain extending and much of New York, central to eastern Pennsylvania, and all the way down to Virginia. I think that might be exaggerated. That could probably come slightly eastward, especially as the low pressure continues its inland track. As it does, the colder air can swing underneath it, especially for this magnitude of a storm system. But that blue being the snow, the green the rain, and some of that pink being some ice. But if you add snow into a storm system, this late in April, you got to have something with it. So That's why I say this is one heck of a storm that the models are out printing. Might not be, the most majestic and strongest storms we've ever had in a very long time, but definitely it's got a lot of ingredients to play with, that being the colder air and the warm air mixing and causing snow. And last but not least, we're going to show you the vorticity map, the upper air here, and show you how strong of a storm system this is. You have, the position low pressure right about here, and look at all that cold air that can just filter behind it. The warmer air filtering into the east side. Again, this is very classical. The eastern United States, they've been in a drought for a long, long time. We haven't seen a good dose of rain for about a month and a half, but this can really help bring those numbers back up to average, something that we need. I'm not thinking that flooding is going to be a major, major concern, nothing historic, but definitely it could get those creeks back to the normal levels, maybe rising even above that. Major rivers about the same, but this storm's going to give all forces of what it can, and that's going to be your rain, your snow, your winds. Classify it the word nor'easter. So for more information, be sure to check out our website at goea.org, where we'll have minute by minute and updates as we further and closer to the storm for Sunday and into Monday. Have a good rest and the start to your weekend.